have to build a positive relationship with your money. I have a car that is from 2008, but I'm proud and I haven't spent money on that. And I can stare at my bank account and be happy with it. That's my positive relationship. When I feel bad about my car, I think of my bank account. I open up my Tesla stock and I go, I had $250,000 in January, February of 2020, and I traded through the worst pandemic. And this morning, I almost doubled my money. So today is money mindset. Sometimes the biggest barrier is you to making money. And I understand how you feel. I really do. I had periods in my life where I was ridiculously rich and ridiculously poor. But I still remember that people treated me as if I didn't exist. And it made me really angry. I'm already still angry. It made me really angry. It made me think, why? You know, I'm a human being. I deserve to eat. I deserve to be respected. These other people don't understand us. They don't understand what it's like and can feel like a treadmill. You can feel like you're a rat in a cage and they put you on a treadmill and they said, try and go for it because they barely pay you enough to get out of that situation in the first place. I understand. Maybe you just don't know how to get out of it. I get it. But the inexorable truth is you put yourself there. It's going to be really tough to accept that. But it's the only way that you're going to get around it. The only logical conclusion, right, is if what you're doing now is producing a certain result, then the truth must be that you've got to change to get a different result. There is no other option. We aren't driven by the smart choice. We aren't driven by long-term choices. We're driven by short-term choices. So how do you get your mind right? Welcome to the hardest thing you will ever do in your life. Because there is no more controversial topic than money. You know what you have to do is you got to like money. A lot of people talk about how, of course they like money. Everybody likes money. Some people don't. Most people don't. They would rather just not deal with it, not have to think about it. Not have to, every morning, I don't make enough. Every morning, got to pay this bill. Every fucking morning, you're sitting on the shitter. How can I make more money? You're sitting at dinner. What if I could have the steak, but I can't, so I'm just going to order the chicken or maybe the salad or just an appetizer when you're out with friends. And if all your life is about seeing stress when it's money, then I get that's where you're going to be. Most people have a horrible relationship with money. Right? So what you have to do is get in that mindset where you like it. There's nobody out there who does something willingly that they don't like. So on some level, you've got to build a positive relationship with money. So that's your first step. I still do this to this day. Okay? I'm not better than you. I just have tricks. Okay? I am you. Okay, so who in here is a total degenerate when it comes to having money? I know you guys are here. You have to build a positive relationship with your money. However that may be. So you're going to identify self-talk. When you make a financial decision, what you need to do carefully is revise and think about what it is you actually said. Okay? So I'm going to use some of the things that I helped someone specific with, some of their phrases. I deserve more. Okay, so maybe half of you felt like that. For those of you, so money is very personal, right? But there's some commonalities that I'm going to pick out. Deserve is not what word would you use, but you want more. Okay, I want more. Okay? The way that you become positive and happy with a situation is not to be negative about the situation. See, because the problem is we've all grown up. We basically are the children of marketing. Everywhere you go, there are messaging and messages that you could be better if you had X, whatever X is. Maybe a bigger house, a better car, a bigger dick, bigger boobs, if you were smarter. See what I'm saying? That is our upbringing in the United States because we are constantly exposed to messaging. So what they do is they create a negative perception about where you are right now and they serve up something. So you need to program your brain to think the opposite. So how do you do that? Well, you're going to change that phrase into, instead of I deserve more, I have enough. And then you get to an ego part where you feel good that you have everything that you need. You feel proud that you don't need anything from anyone, and you can get angry, or at least in an egotistical fashion, how you're better because you don't need all this shit. Because at any point in time, you can say fuck you to anybody. I don't know how you get around it, but that's how I do it, right? What I experience in my life is people constantly tell me that I'm not good enough as an investor because I don't have outward displays of wealth. I have a car that is from 2008. I have the same car, but I'm proud. You know why? Because I kept a car for more than a decade and all my other friends have cycled through cars and I haven't spent money on that. And I can stare at my bank account and be happy with it. That's my positive relationship. Do you see how that works? What I do is when I feel bad about my car, I think of my bank account. Okay. I open up my Tesla stock and I go, I had $250,000 in January, February of 2020, and I traded through the worst pandemic and I doubled. Well, this morning I almost doubled my money. So people don't actually tell you these things. You guys were surprised people tell you these things. What they do is they do it in a passive aggressive way. And your friends are and people you interact with, and marketing is well-meaning enough, but they do this to you, right? So for example, right, at the beginning of this year and into September of last year, I was telling people inflation is coming. You really need to have some inflation hedges, right? Now, I've spent a lifetime studying finance, and I think I'm pretty damn good at it, right? But they'll ignore you because they're in a Land Rover and you have a piece of shit car from back in the day. And by the way, the seat's torn up, but I'm not going to pay to replace it because the car's only worth $7,000. They just ignore what you have to say. And it's because deep down inside, they only believe that people who have outward displays of wealth are rich. And the truth is, outward displays of wealth have no correlation with how much money people really truly have. Okay? There's a book that you should read. It's called The Millionaires Next Door. And they did one of the largest comprehensive studies on who America's wealthy people were. And this is exactly a myth that feeds into your relationship with money, right? You really don't know that people with real money, people with large bank accounts, are actually your average person. Okay, so we're going to go through some stats. 5% of Americans are millionaires, 1 in 20. Most millionaires identify as Democrat rather than Republican. Many do not drive luxury cars. Ford is the second most popular car brand behind Mercedes. 80% of the millionaires do not have a current model year. 92% of them have a model year that's 10 years or older. 94% of them are married. 83% of them attended public schools, and 80% have college degrees. 97% are homeowners and have on average lived in the same home for more than 20 years. 80% are self-made. Less than 20% of them have inherited money. Most millionaires who own their own businesses are in dull, low-tech businesses such as construction trades, auctioneers, farmers, owners of mobile home parks, pest controllers, coin and stamp dealers. On average, they invest 20% of their realized household income. So the fact that they don't have new cars, the fact that they don't have luxury cars should be shocking to you. Many millionaires reject status symbols whenever possible. They state that millionaires believe that their financial independence is more important than displaying high social status. Millionaires allocate their time to their financial plans. They say on average they spend 5 hours a week talking about their financial plan. Millionaires take decades to get there. So these are some of the money myths that we're confronted with every day. Well, that's the problem. Faced with the inexorable truth, we still won't believe what the truth is that real people with real money don't spend their money. That's how they keep it. But go ahead, keep telling me how I'm wrong, and I'll continue making more money than you ever will. Next self-talk that you should avoid. What will people think of me if I don't have X? You need to become resilient to the social pressures, aka keeping up with the Joneses. You know what I'm always proud of? That I still have socks from college. I bought wool socks, these little footy things, and I still have them. Okay, so who said that before? What will people think of me if I don't have X? Again, you need to change that to don't give a fuck, okay? You will be much happier in your life if you give a fuck about a few things in your life. That's the key to happiness. People think that satisfying your needs is the key to happiness. Giving a fuck less is literally the key to happiness. I'm not kidding. I care about 2 things. This stream, my family, and my money, and my health. That's about it. Okay, rich people are evil. Evil, mean, unethical, whatever you want. A lot of you disagree with this self-talk, but wait, you need to look at yourself and say, am I rich yet? If you are not rich, maybe you should take this under consideration. Maybe you should start thinking different. If you hate rich people, you will never become one. You just won't. If on some deep psychological level, you hate rich people, you will never become one. Your beliefs drive your choices. If you think on some deep psychological level, you will self-sabotage. I see it all the time. People who have some kind of glory thing where they have some victim mentality where rich people are exploiting me. Oh, the corporate bosses. Oh, the corporations. Oh, workers never get enough. You just won't. And I want you to get there. I understand that's difficult to hear. I really do. But when you start focusing on yourself and what you can control and how you can control your thought process, because the inexorable truth is to get rich, you're going to have to do what they did. And if you think that they are unethical, manipulative, mean, rude, whatever, you're not going to do it. Welcome to the system. The system is so ingrained. If you want to climb up and be the boss, there is one day that you're going to have to fire somebody. If you want to be the boss, there's going to be a decision that is going to hurt some people and make some other people more money. If there is a day, you live in a capitalistic society and you want to benefit from capitalism, there is a day that you have to make a decision to be like them. That's the inexorable truth. Now, you can try to do it in the most ethical way possible, but at some point, you will have a psychological block that will not allow you to think that you ever want to be in that position. And maybe nobody's ever told you this, but this is the absolute truth. Why? Because I've been at the dirt and bottom. I know what it's like. Okay? I have begged people for food. I've begged people for money. I've had to sit there and be nothing to anybody just because I needed something right then, because I was hungry, because I needed services, because I needed a place to stay. And I'm telling you, that mindset will not allow you to make money. If you don't want to become if you don't like baseball players, you're not going to become a baseball player. But when I see how controversial money is, right? You can't say it the other way. When I talk about a baseball player, it makes total sense. If you don't like soccer, you're not going to become a soccer player. If you don't like soccer players and how they feign for attention, have you ever seen a foul on a soccer team? a pro soccer team, the dramatics are incredible. They get the red card and then they pop up and they're like, I'm fine, right? If you hate that shit, you will never do it. And that's what's necessary to win, because a foul can mean the difference between your team winning or not. Now, do you want to hack the planet? That's fine, but you better figure out how you're going to hack the planet and face your internal conflict of, I don't want to do that. And then just say you don't want to do that. But until you face that internal conflict, you are not ever going to become a rich person. Okay? If you're having trouble with this concept, I recommend that you read a life-changing book for me that was How to Be a Badass with Money. Because you are a badass at making. And what's really surprising about this book is it's going to piss you off, but you need to sit there and read it. Okay, let's talk about actual money myths. So we talked about mindset. You need to identify your self-talk and have a positive relationship with money. Okay? See money, make money. See money, feel it. Love money. It's the only way. Let's confront at least mathematical myths, okay? You cannot retire early. Anybody have ever thought that? It's not even possible to retire early. Define retire, live off your investment, not have to do anything. Okay, so if we assume that the S&P continues to grow at 8%, then all you need to do is to save half your income for 7 years, and you can live forever on that amount of money. But it would be the original income, right? So let's say you made $150,000, you saved half of your income for 7 years, that would be $70,000. Obviously, there's taxes and shit like that, so you'd have to do your post-tax amount. If you saved half of that income for 7 years, if you follow a 3% safe withdrawal rate, 3 to 4%, and what you do is you withdraw that money and put it into the S&P, then technically you could live off of that forever. The safe withdrawal rate will get you there. What you do is also what you need to understand is you adjust your withdrawal for inflation as well. That's a little trick a lot of people don't understand. So your income should stay stable with retirement. Obviously, this assumes a couple things. It assumes that you guys put it in a tax-deferred account, either a Roth or a 401k. Either way, even if you don't decide to retire, being financially independent is a good idea. So for those of you who didn't think it was possible, it is possible in just 7 years. Either way, you will be in a very good position. And here I have a little calculator to kind of help you out. Okay, another money myth is that a very expensive college somehow makes you more return on investment. Unfortunately, the average income coming out from Harvard, even after a lifetime, even after a decade, is still only $75,000. If you come out from a community college, your average is only $50,000. Not really a huge jump. So getting huge college loans to get you to an elite school may not be the best choice for being a millionaire. College is an investment. You need high return on investment. There's a little trick that a lot of my friends did that I wish I had done, which is to go to a community college. They'll accept you anyways. Stay there for 2 years and transfer in and only have 2 years of college loan. Or you can be a European who gets college for free, I guess. Either way, it's an investment. So you need to judge it just like an investment. You should also consider possibly the trades, okay? What do I mean by trade school? So trade school has, it's like being a plumber, carpenter, electrician, highly skilled work. The trades have great return on investments. And guess what? You get paid to train. A master plumber technically gets paid as much as my husband does for being a cloud architect. Now, he's only a beginner cloud architect, but that's wild. So when you're thinking about your career, another myth is somehow an elite institution will get you a ton of money. That's not necessarily true. Really, it's the connections that you make at Harvard. There's a lot of other people that I've met that have never done any of that. The last thing that you want to do is to have $100,000 of loans, hundreds of thousands of dollars of loans for only $75,000 or $100,000 in income. That's crazy. It ends up that the ROI that we've calculated here is really the best out of the 3 schools that we picked: Harvard, Georgia Tech, and University of South Dakota. Really a technical school. Okay, so another money myth based on math that I've seen that a lot of people don't understand is a lot of people think that they should pay cash for items. Now, this doesn't make a lot of sense because interest rates are at 0, but they come back up, which it seems like they are, because they're going to start tapering in about a year from now. So let's just imagine that we still have a positive return by putting it in a savings account. So let's say it's a $33,000 loan. So what's really surprising is that paying cash down is not necessarily the best thing. So let's say you had a $33,000 car, principal payment, and you wanted to finance it. Let's say you only had to pay 1% interest. What's really surprising is that even putting it inside what a lot of finance people like to tell you is if you can take the money and put it somewhere else that has more interest, then it's better to pay cash. I say you take the loan because what's really surprising is that the difference in interest rates is not really what you're looking for. Even if you put it in an interest account, what this shows you is that not paying cash isn't advantageous. You still end up making a little bit more. Why? Because you're paying down on a de-escalating loan versus earning interest on an escalating savings account. So I've never paid cash in my life for stuff. I always take loans, and I take the money and put it in something that's interest bearing, something safe. This year I don't do that anymore because interest rates are 0, and so it just doesn't matter anymore. But if interest rates climb back up, that's another myth that a lot of people don't understand. Hopefully that was a good talk for you guys. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I hope you can get past your money myths. Again, read those 2 books. It's called The Millionaire Next Door and How You Can Be Badass with Money. I think getting your mind right about it and liking the process that you're on, being happy with yourself, where you are, and try not to be so judgmental about rich people. I know that seems like a weird thing, but seriously, if you don't like basketball, you're never going to do good at basketball. Same thing goes for being rich. If you hate rich people, you're not going to become rich.